Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine, and thank you so much for joining me today for the Friday Masterclass, where it's a combination of spreading a little holiday cheer, and we're going to take a look at using a bunch of templates and music and creating a couple little things, text-based animations and After Effects, all sort of holiday themed. Lots of great content out there, particularly on Adobe Stock. And if you're looking to create something fun or just create kind of quick social posts, Katrina was just showcasing some of that in Express. Well, you can also do it in Premiere too. We've got tons of templates to kind of get you started and lots of free stuff. So we're going to take a look at some of those and maybe do a little remixing of some holiday tunes that I recorded a while back to augment this little social creation that I may or may not actually publish. And this is also, if you're reading the description of today's masterclass, it's an Ask Me Anything, because this is our last stream of the year before the holiday shutdown for Adobe here. So really, it's an opportunity to just get some questions out there, and I'll try and answer them for you. So thank you so much for joining. Of course, we're coming to you live on Adobe Live, Behance, YouTube, and the Twitter. So thank you so much for joining. And yeah, let's go ahead and kick in. Let's see who's joining us today. I'm still in the process of trying to find an appropriate commenting computer. So you know, I'm relying on my phone here. So you've got Christelle and Oliver and Tim and Steve and Jack. Very nice to see you all. And Umacorn, thank you so much for joining. Oh, lots of nice faces today. All right, that's great. Okay, so before we get started, just wanted to point out one quick thing here. So you remember a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I guess 2 streams ago, we were doing showcasing some of the newer updated neural filters in Photoshop. And you may recall that I was, at the time, working on this restoration it was actually sourced from a slide from when my mom was a model back in the 60s. And it was this image here. So this is there. So that's the original that I started with. Now, if you recall, the neural filters, and if you can guess which one my mom is, she's the blonde on the left. I'm losing my train of thought. The neural filters only got us so far with this particular image. Part of the challenge that I was having with this is that I was able to scan this myself probably about a decade ago. Really then very popular Canon 9000J scanner, I think, which did slide scanning. And it was this weird format. Managed to clean up most of the little things on it. And a fantastic quality slide. But I could never really get the colors right. So this was actually after trying to treat the colors manually, and I couldn't ever really seem to kind of just get it right. I was always shifting the wrong thing. This is also at a time when I didn't quite understand color grading as well as I do now. So I decided to, try and see what neural filters could do. We had a look at that. And then see if what colorize might do, and that gave us some weird results. So I wound up going in and basically using a combination of different neural filters, and then basically doing a lot of masking to vector masks to basically sort of paint back in some of the original stuff that I had done while taking advantage of some of the neural filters. And ultimately, I think I'm going to have this printed up on canvas for my mom, since this is kind of a nice early memory of sort of how she, her start in the biz when she used to do that years ago. So this was the original, and I just wanted to show you today. This is the final. So really pleased with how this turned out. Again, this is where the neural filters really managed to do some really magnificent detail on the eyes there, and some of the sharpness here on the telephone. And again, had to do quite a bit of masking to pull out some of these floral colors on this other woman's dress, because it just, it didn't quite know what to do with all of those, but made it a lot more vibrant and kind of, modernized it. But the crazy thing is it is stuck in time, right? It's so stuck in time. But original, post neural filter, and again, hours of manual masking and painting stuff back. Make no mistake. Not a lot of content to wear filling, though, I might add. Most of it was really just brushing in little bits and pieces of detail that some of the AI didn't quite get. But yes, I get some nice comments from Oliver and Misty. Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, no, I'm really, I'm quite pleased myself with it. So I think she's going to love it. And, that's that. Okay. All right. So I thought we would just kind of start in Premiere today, just talking about, again, kind of if you're wanting to put together, or maybe, I don't know, a couple years ago I did a whole bunch of holiday videos, largely when we were all locked down for friends and family and stuff, and wound up kind of making my own sort of templates and things. And we had some in Adobe stock at the time. Now there's a lot more. There's always new ones. And I just wanted to focus on some of the latest free ones that are available, just to kind of, overlay a video. It could just be a little family thing, something nice if you're not sending out physical holiday cards or anything like that. It's just kind of fun to do. So I thought we'd kind of start there. I see Misty saying your mom's going to cry with happiness. Oh, that's very nice. I think so too. I think she's really going to like that. And on a canvas, if you've done those, like anyone who's in the U.S., the Costco canvas prints. I know they sell them elsewhere in the world too, duh. But specifically those, I have a bunch here. I actually got that idea from Terry White years ago. They are magnificent. And when you have by the way, that photo, that image now, the scan is, I think, based on how I originally scanned it, it's like a 7K image. So there is incredible detail in there. So it's all going to translate to the canvas. It's going to look awesome. All right. So basically, in the Essential Graphics panel here in Premiere Pro, I'm in the Adobe Stock tab here to browse some of our content. And I simply typed in holiday and checked the free box. And what you're seeing here are just some of the holiday templates. And as mentioned, when you hover scrub over these things, they will give you kind of a preview. So this is kind of a nice one. I thought maybe we'd download and play with this one here. I also like this. This one, as you're seeing that, here, let me move over a little bit. This one too, this kind of reminded me, I don't know, again, kind of in that 60s theme. It's just something about the animation and the graphics. It also feels a little Teen Titans Go, if that's your jam. Also, by the way, and unfortunately, I was going to play some music today. Sorry, it's not happening. It's just, the cameras aren't set up. You'd be seeing half the side of my head. It's not going to happen. But anyway, Vince Guaraldi, a very famous composer of the Charlie Brown Christmas album, and has now become sort of Christmas standards with Christmas Time Is Here. They just put out 2 months ago, although I only found out about it last weekend. There is now, so this was done on Fantasy Records, old jazz label in the Bay Area. And the soundtrack that had been available for it came out in 65, so long time, 50 plus years, approaching 60 years, was basically, I don't know if it was transferred from a mono tape master or it was transferred from, like the film mag soundtrack and then put back to tape and then pressed on vinyl. The quality I have 3 different versions of it, including the digital version. They've always been terrible, just really muted and muffled, and you can hear distortions. And I mean, it's amazing music. And for an audio nerd, it never really bothered me because I just loved the tracks so much. But I always kind of lamented that it just wasn't a great recording, evidently. Well, apparently they, not so long ago, found in a vault for Fantasy not only the original masters of the album, like the finished mixes of the album, but they found all of the outtakes of every song and every cue that Vince Guaraldi wrote and recorded for the special. So there is now, both available digitally and old school CD, I only listened to the digital version, there is a 80-track, 4.5 hour long presentation of A Charlie Brown Christmas, and it is exhaustive and fantastic. And the remaster, they actually said remix. I don't know if it's actually a remix because I read in an article that they were 1/4 inch. That would tell us they're already, recorded in stereo. Not going to be remixing that. Although they could have done some demixing. I don't know. Chances are, given 1965 and given it was jazz, it was probably, if anything, I doubt it was even a 4-track recording. It was probably a 3-track recording on 1/2-inch tape. Again, I didn't read enough articles about it. Maybe they did have the masters. It says remix. Regardless, these new masters sound phenomenal. And in particular, the tracks that have the kids singing, you just hear things that you've never heard before. And you can hear the kids, and on some of the outtakes, you hear the kids giggling and everything else. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend checking that out. If you Christmas or not, it's a great record. You get to hear his band, Jerry Granelli, fantastic drummer, who passed away last year. It's great, and you get to hear all the outtakes and you kind of hear in the studio, and if you like that sort of thing, it's a lot of fun. Taking a lot of time to talk because it's holiday time, friends. Why not? Spread a little holiday cheer. All right, so let's go ahead and start with, I don't know, let's start with this little glittering winter holiday one. So I'm going to download this. Now, the footage that you see here, I think I've probably shown this maybe before on stream. I tried to find, I had lots more clips like this years ago. I should probably sell this on Adobe Stock. Somebody would probably buy this. I've mentioned that I have all these animatronics that we put out during Halloween. Well, we also have all these, like, you can find these like Hallmark store crap. I don't know. All these little animated characters. You can see like some snowmen and over there. I have this animated saxophone playing Santa, goofy thing, that I decided to film. This is easily 10 plus years ago. There's like a Frosty the Snowman playing the piano over there. Oh, there he is. He's in there. Oh, I didn't even realize this is a little comp video. I didn't even watch this before. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So, and I did them all, I think probably like 60 FPS. So a little slow-mo. So, you know, okay, let's use this as kind of a backdrop for adding some of these motion graphics templates. So again, we're just going to drop this one in here just to kind of see what it looks like. Now this is 1080, so we'll need to, we'll scale it down. And I'm not exactly sure of the attributes of this, so let's take a look. So up at the top here, we have some global controls. All right, so we've got some position controls, got some text controls, and then we have background controls. Okay, interesting. So let's see, first of all, let's see if we need to set this to the frame size. Okay. Let's just kind of scrub through and see what this is. Now, as mentioned, this was created in After Effects. I can tell that because it has those categorized sections in the motion graphics template. And when you have a motion graphics template that was created in AE, chances are it's going to need a little sort of render to be able to see it in real time. So as I've mentioned many times on stream, we have the After Effects render engine. It's in Premiere Pro. So if you simply scrub through the motion graphics template, this is the equivalent of you basically playing back, scrubbing through. In After Effects, we have the GPC, the Global Performance Cache. So as you play through, scrub through, it caches those frames. Well, this is effectively doing the same thing on the Premiere side. So if I, you know, even though it's still showing red, and it's just going very slowly, despite me seeing it better. All right, maybe we'll just continue the scrub here. Got to tell you too, this machine today involuntarily shut down and would not restart twice today. So I don't know if that's a sign that this old Mac is on its way out. I'm a little concerned, but we should be fine for right now. Okay. So first of all, I like the text. Background opacity. There we go. Okay, so we can bring the background in or not. That's perfect because I would actually love to showcase my little Santa. Now we can leave some of it on there. That kind of gives it a nice, almost like a slight blue color wash hue. All right, and you can see you've got snow color, background color. Very, very cool. Happy winter holidays. Oh, and this is another good opportunity where, yes, we have global position. So, so you know, now that I've done that, let me undo, can I undo the, because I can see it's got that background attached to it. If I undo that, let me change the, hold on, I'm just going to change, this is scaled at 66%. I'm going to rescale this back to 100% so I can move the text up here. You can see there's that border right there. But then I can also, oh no, that's the whole size of everything. Oh, okay, well that's fine. Let's just adjust the text size here. There we go. We can scale up that background even more. It's nice. I didn't realize they had it separated. I wasn't looking there. So that's actually a lot nicer. I like that. And let's do a quick little, we can do an in to out here. Let's do a little in-out render on this so I can kind of see what this is going to look like in real time. Let's see what we got. Sac Santa style. Stylish, says Vasco Sareva. Yes. I don't know. That time I just went around and we have a lot of these things. Sometimes much to my chagrin, but there are many of them. And I don't know, they were fun. And again, I think I filmed this back in 2010 or 2011. Canon 5D or 70, I had both at the time. Both did 60 FPS. And that was kind of in that, you know, that was the DSLR boom era, 2010, 2011, 2012, and shooting HD. Now, this actually, this is 720p at 60 FPS because they couldn't do 60 FPS at 1920 1080 back then on those cameras. Now, of course, I think they can even do it at 4K. But so it was just sort of like fascinating to shoot 60 frames in even standard HD 720p. And I had some really beautiful lenses, so, you know, it was fun. It was a fun time. Cody, we have your version of Grinch on our Christmas playlist, Jason. Yes, thank you, Cody. Yes, I must say, too, for those of you interested, I do have a version of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch available on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Store, and everywhere that music is streamed or sold. Add it to a playlist and help me bring in that money for the people who wrote it, because I see almost nothing. But it's a lot of fun. I was noticing my Spotify plays have gone up like 600%, and that's because I have that song is on a lot of playlists evidently, and it gets play at Christmas time. So it was nice to see. I was like, oh, that's right. So there you go. So there's what it looks like. So kind of fun, right? Kind of nice. Nice little snow. Now, what's cool about this too, if we go back to the template itself. Now, obviously, I didn't even change winter holidays. Why didn't I change that? So again, for the uninitiated, you know, this is all editable. So I could just say Happy Holidays. Okay. And it changes right on screen right away. Now, it's going to require another render, unfortunately. Unlike if this was natively opened in After Effects, where again, the way that the caching works now, if you change one parameter, it doesn't have to re-render everything else necessarily. There are some dependencies sometimes, but it goes pretty quickly, as you saw. So all of this is editable. Of course, we could also have no text and just use the snowy background. You know, that's the other thing too. So I'm going to show you in a second, like how we can put on, you know, create snow in After Effects. But actually, this snow is pretty good, and it has like shallow depth of field on the flakes. So they're kind of simulating all that. You can even see there's it's an actual snowflake design right there. It's not just circles. So, you know, that's pretty nice. Also, you'll note here there's the glow control. So this little glow around the text. So we can enable that or disable that. Really like that. And again, you've got that background opacity and background color. So if we wanted, instead of that bluish hue, you know, we want to go, again, stay in kind of the Christmassy holiday theme. Kind of, oh, maybe that's a little too much, but you know, this is okay. There's, don't listen to me for design advice. All right, let's keep it blue. That was way better. No, I don't want screen recording. No, what? No. Ugh. Ugh. What was that? Why did that pop up all of a sudden? Okay, so that's one little example. We're gonna keep that one. And let's see what we've got in terms of, or actually, let's go ahead and maybe recreate this manually on the After Effects side. So let's come over here. Let's see, what else do I have in this one as I'm scrubbing through? I got this little guy. Oh, that's fun. Look at that guy. I mean, can you actually be angry at something when it has a face that looks like that? Not that I'm angry. I'm just saying, look at that little sweet. Is this me just kind of being a dad, being like, oh, look at his sweet little face? It's a little snowman wearing a scarf and a hat with a carrot nose. It's impossible to be in a bad mood. Hatefully, I centered all of these things. This would have been much better if he was off to the side. Would have been a little bit easier to put some text on there. But that's okay. Let's go to our friend down here. Maybe we'll do some text along the bottom. So we're going to go over to After Effects and kind of create the same sort of thing. Now, I'm going to do this on the cheap, so to speak. We're going to get into heavy After Effects here. But, this was one of those, like, if you're ever trying to play around and do things, it's pretty easy to, and actually there's tons of effects and presets to kind of get you started in After Effects. We've talked about this a lot. And I thought we would do this here. So first, I've got some text. It just says Happy Holidays here. I'm going to place this along the bottom. Maybe I'll pull up the Align panel here. Just align this horizontally so it's centered. That font is okay. Nothing particularly fancy here. Now again, if we want to do some kind of text animation on this. Oh, and I already did. Shoot. Hold on. Let me get rid of that. I already added a text animation on there. Didn't mean to do that. Let's do Merry Christmas instead. Okay. All right. And let's align it horizontally along the bottom. So again, we can fly text on. We can blur text on. Lots of things we can do on there. I've shown that all before. But I was thinking, oh, is there some kind of like snowflake animation? Not like I've looked for it before. So I just typed in snow up in the Effects and Presets panel. And sure enough, there is a graphical text animation that simulates snowflakes. So I thought, okay, I have no idea what that looks like. So let's go ahead and throw that on there and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and preview this. Now, it's not particularly fantastic. It's essentially got a wiggle applied here. But I don't know. It's kind of neat. It's got a little snowflake element on there. There's something cool about it. I like it. All right. And if you type UU on your text layer, you can actually reveal all the various values and colors and things that are leveraged in here. So you can play around with it. You can see there's a whole bunch of expressions that are actually driving this animation here. So as I've mentioned before, a lot of times using some of these animation presets, if nothing else, it's just a great way to understand how these expressions are laid out and, just start messing with them, play around with them, change them. Okay? So that looks okay. Why not? It's a little silly and not brilliant. You can see there's like little flashes of snowflakes in the corners there. Now, what I was thinking though, okay, that's cool. What if I want to add some snow to this? Now, lots of different ways to do that. Let's see if we can get it back on screen there. Actually, here, we'll start the snow at the beginning. So we do have a whole series of effects that we've had for ages, labeled CC. They stand for Psycore effects. I've had them in After Effects for a decade and a half or more. And I was pretty sure that there was one called Snow. And sure enough, again, just by typing Snow, you can see right here under Simulation, CC Snowfall. Now these are pretty old. They're not as beautiful exactly as what we saw before with those other snowflakes, but they can do some nice stuff. And again, if you're making a little social post or something fun or shareable, who cares? Avatar came out yesterday. I've heard some things. I won't see it personally. Don't care. Didn't care for the first one. But that's an example where it's all about, the beauty, the animation, the thing. Feh. Okay. Does anyone care anymore? You see what's happening with ChatGPT and generative AI and voice and face deep fakes. I saw some dude who was doing something and he was Morgan Freeman. Oh my God. I mean, what? So I'm reverting back. Give me like claymation and flat 2D, frankly, Got ChatGPT writing code, checking code. Actually, it's great. By the way, I mean, love it or hate it. You can use ChatGPT to, a friend of mine turned me on to this, not only check expressions, but help you write expressions in After Effects. What? I know. Crazy stuff. Okay. All right. Oliver, macOS is getting very pestery as of late. It is. Annika, how are you doing? I know. I don't know what the deal is. Cody agrees too about I'm assuming about my previous statement. Yes. Right? Just give me some like well-drawn, flat artwork. I'm just, the other stuff, I just don't care anymore. All right, now, because we're adding snowfall, I'm not going to add it to the text layer. So this is a little After Effects thing. So I'm not going to add it to the text layer because then the snow will fall in the text. And that's fine. That's cool if you want that. I want the text to be behind it. So I just need to add a solid layer. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Make it the comp size. We'll call this the snow. And it's the comp size here. That's all good. Doesn't really matter what the color is because I'm not going to use the background here. I'm going to turn that off. I just need something to apply the snow to on its own layer. So having done that and created that, that solid layer, I'm going to take CC Snowfall up here from Effects and Presets, drag that on the snow layer. Okay. And then underneath where it says background, so here's all the parameters here. So you can see you've got flakes, size, maybe we'll play around with some of this variation, scene depth, see what that does, speed, wind, oh we definitely need to add some wind in there, spread, there's a wiggle in here, background illumination, composite with original, so we're gonna uncheck that because I don't want the background in there. And then now you see we've just got snow over top of the text. So again, I'm hitting my space bar. Okay, and by the way, note it doesn't have to re-render the text animation because we already did that. It's just rendering essentially the snowfall, which it does pretty much. I mean, there is no rendering; it's happening in real time. So again, like if you just take a look at this, it's not bad. Now, what I think is sort of indicative of a lot of these CC effects, the Psycore ones, they're not snowflakes, right? They're just like elongated pixels. So you know, maybe. And it doesn't seem to have, we have depth, but we don't have like blur. So maybe I'm surprised there's no blur in here. So maybe we add a blur effect to this or not. I don't know. You know, it's just kind of blur everything. Maybe that does or doesn't look great. Let's see what happens if we add a little bit of wind. Okay, kind of see things look like they're blowing a little more randomly now. That's coming through. I realize we've got like light white. Yeah, that looks. So the motion is pretty good. Maybe the speed, maybe it needs to be slowed down. It's kind of moving pretty quickly, right? I mean, snowfall doesn't necessarily move that fast. There we go. And when you do that, by the way, and again, this is obviously a property of this effect, you'll note that when you slow it down, it also now looks less, I mean, it's still just sort of elongated pixels. It's not snowflakes, but it has a bit more realism now. You can barely see that, I realize. It's got a bit more realism now, right? You were kind of getting these elongated lateral snowflakes. You're still getting lateral snowflakes, but when you're slowing it down, you add a little wind. Actually, the motion looks fantastic. Let's see what happens if we add a little blur to this. I am curious. Now we got a whole bunch of blurs in here. So many blurs. Smart blur, radial blur. What does radial blur do? Let's see. Oh no, that's like way too much. No. We don't want that. Fast box blur, directional blur. Channel blur, radial fast blur, camera lens blur, camera shake deblur. That's something entirely different. Let's try camera. No, that's that. Well, let's see. Is that one faster? That one used to be super slow to render. Very hard to see. Yeah, no, too much. Okay. I'm like barely seeing it. Oh, because I have the radius at 0. Let's try the radius at 1. Let's try the radius at 1.5. Actually, that's not half bad. Took a little bit of the edge off. All right, now we could play with this all day. I'm gonna say that's pretty good for now. Yeah, we could add some color or lightness or brightness. Remember, this is gonna be over top of our little snowman over there. So I'm gonna save this. And let me just click back over to Premiere for a sec. So I wanna make sure that my project panel is open up here because I'm now going to bring in this After Effects comp as a dynamic link, right? So again, showcase this before. By the way, remember this is a feature that got released 2 years ago. The comp will automatically start rendering in the background, so you can see it's already rendered here in After Effects. So I'm simply going to click on the snowflake comp. All right, click and hold. Command tab, Control tab over to Premiere. I'm going to drop that into Premiere's project panel. And then I'm simply going to drag this into my timeline. And now let's play it back. Now I'm in quarter res here. Let's go into full res. Let's see if we can play this back full resolution. And there we are. There's our little smiley snowman with some text and some snowflakes. And because I have the natural shallow depth of field in the shot, it kind of, I mean, yeah, you can see like the snow looks a little fake, but the smaller flakes in the background, because there's that blur, they do sort of kind of appear sort of out of focus. Now again, there's other ways that we could control that in After Effects, but now the snow is going up. Going the opposite direction. What is happening? I'm rewinding, by the way. All right. So that would be one way to create that manually. Again, really simple, kind of fun. You know, speed it up could be even more fun. You get the idea. But if you wanted to do something like that manually, pretty easy to do in After Effects. Also want to point out while you're over there, and of course any changes that we make will update inside Premiere. You know, if you want to check out some of the animation presets and have actual previews of what they look like, you can do that under Browse Presets under the animation menu. They did just add a couple of new ones in there, and you know, they're not bad. All right. Vasco, wait, was that magic file linking? No, so that's called dynamic linking. It's been around for a long, long time. Works, again, some people have different experiences with this. Now, I've already called out, this is an old machine. Sometimes it struggles, sometimes not. This is not, you know, this is not high-level animation here. We got some pretty simple things going on. But all that I did without having to quote-unquote do a final, right, so it's still live. That's the point. So if I wanted to change the text, even though we rendered this in the timeline, it's still fully editable. So again, we can go back to, let's say, Happy Holidays. Let's do for Happy Holidays. If I were to change that now again, nothing's rendered. Again, as I scrub through, it'll start caching frames. You see the green down there. But if I click back over to Premiere, it instantly updates as well. So again, dynamic link allows you to keep it live until the final render occurs on the Premiere side, which is what's really cool. And this has been around forever. And as mentioned, you can do it in a number of ways. I do it kind of my preferred way is I make something in After Effects, and then I simply click and drag, right, the comp, hold it down, tab over to Premiere, drop it in the project panel, and it works that way. You can also do this via the File menu. So I saved over in After Effects. I could have just imported the After Effects comp directly rather than doing the click and drag. That's sometimes an awkward motion for people. Sometimes that, for whatever reason, doesn't work. I don't know why, and sometimes it does. This is usually a fail-safe for that. You can also just, I could have built the in other words, initiated the After Effects composition in the Premiere timeline on that track. It then sends me over to After Effects. I do my thing. When I click back over to Premiere, it's already there. The animation is there. So that's another way to do it. Or you can replace a clip with an After Effects comp, which basically takes the frame size, frame rate, and aspect ratio of the clip in the timeline, creates a new comp in After Effects, sends that clip that you're working on, in this case, our snowman here, to the After Effects timeline, so then you can animate over top of it, right? Instead of animating blind. So 3 different ways to do it. I chose to keep the clip here and drag the animation over top of it, but you got a lot of different ways to do that. And like I said, I use that all the time. And sometimes, you know, it gets a little sticky. There's no limit, theoretically, to how many of those you can have coming over from After Effects. So I could build another one that I want to use to augment this, right? Our previous animation here. We could do something else, maybe have little After Effects sprites or big snowflakes twirling with some depth of field blur effect or something else. You know, lots of different options there. And essentially, in some kind of externalized way, you could make the argument that the motion graphics template is also sort of a dynamic link. It doesn't tie back to After Effects directly, but it's using the After Effects render engine in Premiere. So you can, again, we can have multiples of these things existing in a single timeline. All right. I see Bruce has joined us. How's it going? But I just dragged and dropped Vasco. Yes. So hope that made it clear. All right. Okay. Lastly, just because I want to see that last one, the one that I was thinking kind of feels like Charlie Brown. Let's go ahead and grab that. And I'm actually going to do a little cut on the video here. My little snowman, because I don't know how this one's going to play. This may or may not work so well. We'll see. Because it's got a lot, I don't know what kind of stuff is in there. So let's see what this one looks like. Let's drag this one in. Well, first of all, it's also very short. Okay. And as mentioned, because these are 1080, this video is 720p. Let's go ahead and set it to the frame size. All right. And again, see what we have. Okay, so this also has a background opacity. So in this case, we want to overlay. So I'm going to take it out completely. So that's, like I said, you know, some of these, I just love how they're designed because they kind of know, like, yeah, I don't necessarily want a flat background. I'm probably going to overlay it with something. Now that actually doesn't look too bad. Kind of got our Christmas tree overtaking our little hat-wearing, piano-playing snowman there. That could be seen as sort of perverse. Now, something else that I could do, as I was mentioning, again, this is the ideal template for this. First of all, let me see. Can we move the text around? So we don't have text. Oh, we do have text position. Oh, okay. So yeah, so we could move this. What else have we got? So we don't have controls for this stuff. Now design colors. Oh, look at that. So you've got a little a hue wheel here. Oh, that's very cool. That's automatically, you know, finding complementary colors based on the design. I like that. All right. But we don't have any control over these things. So, you know, we got a couple of options. First, we could size the whole thing up. I could also scale our snowman here. Obviously, that little moving pendulum ornament thing there is kind of hitting him in the face. So we could kind of scale this up. Maybe just reposition. I mean, it's kind of still in his face. There's not much. This is just not the best choice. That's not so bad. All right. And here, let's do a little render on this one just to see what this looks like. And by the way, let's say, you know, I want to add some of that snow into this one too. So now I could duplicate this. Snowflakes 2. Let's take the text out of there. Save. And let's go ahead and, oh, I gotta bring this over to the project panel. Let's drag it over here. Snowflakes 2. Let's drop that on there. Gotta be in the middle, doesn't really matter. Now we've got snowflakes applied. Let's go ahead and do a quick render work area. So now I just, oh, wait a minute. Did I leave I left the text layer on. What? No, why? Did I miss that? I thought I turned it off. Why am I seeing a text layer there? That shouldn't be there. I did grab the right one, right? Snowflakes 2. Why is the text still there? That seems like a bug. Oh, you dope. User error. What was I disabling? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Forget that whole moment. I don't know what I wasn't clicking on the eyeball icon. What was I doing? Maybe it's time for new glasses. Just got them. All right, so we added snow in a separate comp, right? We just duplicated the original comp, turned the text layer off, added the snow on top of this, rescaled the original video, changed the colors a little bit, changed positioning, whatever. And this is just another opportunity here to, kind of customize this. And by the way, look at how nice those colors complement the actual light. You could see there's a blurry Grinch in the background there. It all sort of complements itself nicely. Look at that now. Ah, isn't that so holiday? Once again, he's kind of being impaled in the eye by a Christmas tree there. Wish we had control over that, but that's okay. I still like it. I like it. It's cool. Okay. So maybe for this last thing we want to do here, maybe we want to add a little music. So let's go to Essential Sound. Do a John Cleese, run outside, get a stick, and hit it. I've never felt closer to you, Steve. Why are you bugging A? No, again, that was my fault. I clicked the wrong thing. Christelle, this one is so full of joy with these colors. I know, right? I just wish I wish I had some control over that Christmas tree, because it really like yow. So, if you're looking to design templates, you gave us scale, you gave us color, you gave us background. It would have been nice to have it, if nothing else, even just opacity of the individual objects. But I'm not going to complain. It was free. And I love this template. It's great. And this is not the best graphic. Again, I blame myself a little. You know what I could also do? No, I need to invert it. I could invert this. Maybe that would look better. No, not that kind of inversion. Nah, it's fine. You know what? That's all right. It is what it is. Okay. Music. Essential Sound. So I haven't looked here. Let's see what we get if we pull up Holiday. And we get a lot. We get 1,700 results. So again, maybe we want to find something you can kind of see. Now, this is where, we can go into, do you want sort of jazz? We'll see. Let's hear what qualifies as silver white jazz. Let's see. Approved. Got to admit, kind of stealing tempo and intro from Christmas Time Is Here. Can't blame them though. It works. I like it. So let's go ahead and drag, again, a preview of that down here. And, you know, if we were, you know, in love with this, we decide, you know what, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to use for my whole video. We just drag it down here. Now, remember, this is still a preview. It'll tell you that. If you want to license it, you can simply right-click and license directly in the timeline, or you can license here directly inside of the Essential Sound panel. For our preview purposes, here, I'm going to even back this up. I should just put snowflakes over everything. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Oh, no, I didn't make this responsive, so I'm just going to duplicate this multiple times. Just throwing snowflakes on everything. And then we can kind of hear it with some music in our final moments. And we've got snow on snow. Okay. So let's just do a quick render on this whole thing. I'm also curious here. You know, I'm going to mute this though. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see what melodious sounds like. Not bad. Yuletide pods. No. Happy Christmas Story. Now this one has something which, again, I don't love the melody here, but there's something, if you want to turn almost any song into a holiday / Christmas sounding song, this is a perfect segue. I'm not going to use this, but so I've played it on stream before. This is, I remade The Who's Christmas from Tommy for my children's music show quite a few years ago. And on its own, on itself, it's really, I mean, the song's called Christmas, but it's a rock song, right? So just to hear it by itself, it is just kind of rock. So let me just play it for you just briefly for a second here. This is just a bit of the music. You kind of get an idea. All right, take a listen here. Some dirty bass right there. Okay. Rock song. How do you turn it into something that sounds more holiday-ish? Well, you get a set of jingle bells and you play 4 tracks of jingle bells, which is what I did with my then 4-year-old. And here's what that sounds like. You can even hear him laughing in there. So, holiday. So, Happy Christmas Story. It's okay. What sells it for me, though, having the jingle bells. That's it. It's phenomenal. Let's listen to one more. Happy Christmas Swing Jazz. There they are again. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's right. You know, I've said it before. If you want to turn any regular song into a kid's song, have kids sing on it. If you want to turn any regular tune into some Christmassy holiday thing, add jingle bells to it. Seriously, changes the whole thing. I love it. Okay, these are impressive. I'm really nice. And that silver white one's really, really good. So let's do a quick render here on the whole timeline. I'm going to just clear the in to out. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. We'll see. Let's see how long this takes. It's saying it's going to take 3 minutes. Yay, jingle bells. Oh my God, this board scares me so much. Are you talking about the mixing, the mix board here? hey, don't be too intimidated. It's not a, I mean, it's a lot of tracks, but it's not, again, a lot of it is duplicates of things. So, you know, I recorded 4 tracks of Jingle Bells. So, and my son at the time, pretty good rhythm because he's playing on the upbeat. I'm playing on the downbeat. So, and we did that 4 times just to make it bigger. Jingle bells are really bright, right? And they can be very loud. Because they occupy such a small frequency range, they can really overtake a sound. But to really give it that feel, you need more than 2. So again, there's the equivalent of 8 of them here. And then I placed it in a slightly reverberant space as well. And it just works really nicely. And then it's just, you know, again, most of the track layout here, it's just the drum kit, which, again, at this time I was in a phase where I was just doing ambient miking. So only kick and snare, got direct mics, and everything else, overheads, toms, were all done in this old school ambient mic style, also capturing room ambience with a faraway mic to create an echo chamber effect. I did this on a lot of this music show on purpose. Creates a totally different kind of sound. So you got about 4 tracks of drums there, 2 tracks of piano, 3 tracks of bass, but these were all separate takes, and I just cross-faded 2 of them, kind of went with this very dirty rock, John Entwistle-y kind of sound, and then added the Jingle Bells after. And the vocal is the original vocal, but I don't love that anymore. Yes, okay. How are we doing here? 5 minutes. It's taking more time. Okay. So, friends, while that's finishing up here, hopefully we get to see it. I mentioned this was an Ask Me Anything. Anything else you want to ask me? Maybe not. I'm drinking throat coat tea today. It's very, very cold in the desert. Did he say reverberant? I think you got it right, Bruce. Next week, again, I'll mention we are not here. We are not streaming live. So, and then following that, we have our annual Adobe shutdown. So we'll be offline for a week. The plan for me is to be completely offline for that week. Look forward to those times. Completely digitally detoxing. I will not likely even be in this room for an entire week, which feels great. And hopefully getting to see some family and friends over the holiday. So, again, hope you all enjoy this. It looks like we've got about a minute to go, so we're going to keep talking here. Umacorn, thank you. Happy holidays to you as well. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good year, friends. It's been good, and I'm glad that a new one is upon us. 2022, definitely a year in and of itself. Can't really say much more about that. Bye-bye. That's what I would say. Okay. That was in my Isaac voice. Okay, 35 seconds to go. Sheesh. I was trying to... There's not even that much in there. I just wanted to kind of play a couple seconds of some of that music, but I do want it to be able to play back all in full res, so that's why we're doing that. Okay, just about done here. Let's switch back over, and we can hear the fruits of our loins. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you, Misty. All right, let's turn the music back on here. Come on. Like it. Let's see this one over here. Oh, strings. Nice, and let's move across to this guy. that's about as good as any time to cut back and just say goodbye. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of all the streams this year. Thank you to Cody and Tim and all of my peeps, my fellow Adobeans who run the streams for us every week. Appreciate all of you. Have a very happy, safe, joyous, and love-filled holiday season, and we'll see you next year, next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.